My 45F husband, 49M, of 23 years had an affair with a 20-years-old girl since 2020. I found out this year when his affair partner gave birth to twin boys in March. Obviously we were going to divorce. We've been hashing things out since. It's been a lengthy process due some properties in common, and we needed to get an accountant since he used the shared account for his affair. Finally things seemed to be getting close to the end when both my husband and the woman he cheated with were killed in a car crash. By some miracle the twin babies were not harmed in the crash. Now they are orphaned and neither set of grandparents can take them in permanently. My husband's parents are both in assisted living. He has no siblings and the only aunt that could take them refuses. She's been child-free her whole life. On the woman's side, I'm not sure the details in full, but her parents are also not able to be involved long-term, and the one sister she has lives overseas. Since we were still married and he had not updated his will, all his assets are set to pass to me and our 2 children. I'm not callous enough to leave those babies with nothing, so I agreed to let whoever is their legal guardian to have the remaining balance in the shared account. About 25,000 in savings. The issue is no one wants to take them in. Now my in-laws are pressuring me to take them in and raise them. The issue is, I don't want to. At all. I wouldn't love them and I don't want to be the evil stepmother. But I know a big part of me will always have a level of resentment towards them. I will probably favor my own children. It's not their fault, but I truly loved my husband and I thought we were happy before I found out about the affair. We have 2 daughters, 14 and 16. Obviously we had disagreements, but never insulted each other's before. Then I found out about the affair and he began calling me names and blaming me for his cheating. He became abusive and even tried to kick me of the house, my childhood home that is not shared property for the record. I'm also raising teenagers alone now. I don't have the energy to raise babies anymore. My daughters hate their baby brothers. I tried to get them to spend time with their dad as we were divorcing, but they refused. Since this all was found out because of the babies, there wasn't really a way to sugarcoat the situation. And they are also too old to really get away with it. Most of my friends agree it's not my place to care for those children, but my in-laws, the affair woman's parents and my mother want me to raise them. I know my mom is just having grandkids fever, but it hurts to not have her support. I have to make a decision by next week or the boys will be going into foster care. At the moment they are temporarily placed with their maternal grandparents. I feel horrible, but I am very sure I can't take them in. WIBTA if I refuse to take them in? Comment 1, no. You are not the here and as infants, the babies will likely find adoptive parents quickly. As far as your mother-in-law and father-in-law, they have no business expecting you to spend the next 2 decades raising your cheating spouse's children. As callous as it sounds, either place them for private adoption if your state allows it or for public adoption. Then get on with raising your daughters and dealing with whatever grief you have regarding his death. Comment 2. Nothing callous about putting the children in a good home. That is what a responsible parent would do in this situation. OP didn't make the babies. OP has good reason not to be involved with the babies, and OP has no responsibility in this situation to care for the babies. Put them up for adoption, let them go to a good home and be spoiled by their new parents. I would argue that OP has no responsibility to give them 25k either. I would put my effort into finding them a good home with good parents, but after that, they become the responsibility of the new family. Comment 3. Why should you feel horrible? Your late husband had an affair with a woman young enough to be his daughter. Their children are not your responsibility. You are responsible for your 2 daughters who now only have one parent. Your focus should on them. You don't have the time and energy for babies who are not even related to you. Your daily diaper changing days and midnight feedings are behind you. NTA. Anyone who claims that you are, should be given instructions of how to volunteer to adopt them. My husband and I had to be somewhere for our older child, so we asked my mill if she could watch our 3-month-old son for a few hours. She said of course. Unfortunately, when we went to drop him off, She wasn't home and one of my husband's sisters, Jane, 21, was instead. Apparently my Mill wasn't going to be home for a bit, so she, Jane, agreed to watch our son for some time. I immediately said no because, well, Jane believes that babies don't feel anything. She thinks that they cry for no reason and we shouldn't respond to their cries ever for whatever reason. And that not responding won't have any effect on them. She thinks that anything we do to babies during this period of their lives will have absolutely zero effect on them in the future. She will often call them mindless too. My husband called his mom and we politely explained our concerns and then hung up because we were extremely busy already, and now we had to find another babysitter as well. I figured that was it until Jane came over extremely upset and in tears, insisting that she's not a bad person and that she would never do anything to hurt any kid. She then accused me of discriminating against her because she doesn't want/have kids like everyone else in the family. I told her straight up that I don't give a crap if she wants kids of her own, but I don't like her thoughts on how to care for babies specifically. Instead of trying to understand me, she doubled down and said that her way of dealing with babies makes sense and that I'm wrong, and just extremely sensitive in nature, so of course I don't get it. She kept arguing with me about how to take care of my baby, so I just asked her to leave and she blew up on me. My husband even told her to calm down and that it's not like we're preventing her from seeing our kids all together, but she just went "fuck you and your dumbass kids" and left. Which, okay. But my Mill is really annoyed with me because Jane is still very upset, and I'm just wondering if I'm the R? Like, I don't think I am, especially since no one lets her babysit for the same reasons, but I'm the first person to actually say no to her face and tell her why instead of making up an excuse. And perhaps I was too harsh. Comment 1. NTA and whoa, like, I'd never be comfortable leaving my kids with someone that flies off the handle when faced with a differing opinion. The fact that your Mill is okay with this says she'll 100% leave your kids with Jane just to undercut you and your spouse. Mother-in-law should be cut off from babysitting and you and your partner should be North Carolina with Jane. Comment 2. NTA. So, she's not interested in having kids, yet still thinks her way of caring for babies is superior to yours? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want kids myself, so if I was ever asked to care for a baby, I would make sure to follow every instruction the parents gave me. You can't trust that she follows your way of caring for your child, so you didn't want your child alone with her, that's all. And seems you were right considering she doubled down, proving that she wouldn't have cared for the child in a proper way. Comment 3. I'm technically child-free, but never use the term because of these types of people. I get not wanting children or being uncomfortable around them, but the hate and disdain is weird. I'm very confused about why Sil even wanted to keep the kid. She doesn't even see them as a real human. Maybe money was involved? But in that case, it's a job. A job with a requirement of giving a shit about a child in distress. Me, F33, is getting married soon, November 2024, which has been planned for the last 2 years. My sister, F36, has just split with her husband and started a new relationship with one of her colleagues. We will call him Brandon, who I have briefly met a couple times before but don't know very well. He's nice enough, but my FH has never met him, and like I say, I don't really know him myself. My sister mentioned to Brandon that she is my maid of honor and that I will be getting married in November within the first week of their new relationship. Before my sister and her husband, let's call him Reese, split, they were both invited to the wedding, as they'd been married for 15 years, so Reese was a big part of the family. Brandon automatically assumed he was invited to the wedding in Reese's place, which I didn't like but sort of accepted that she'd want A+1, and Reese wouldn't want to come now anyway given the situation, so I let it go. She then informs me that Brandon has told his daughter Kelly, F10, who he co-parents with his ex, that they're both coming to my wedding, so Kelly is really excited. I reminded my sister that we are having a child-free wedding, which was communicated to everyone who was invited to attend, as we ourselves don't have children, don't want children, and so don't want children at our wedding, which all our family and friends have been fine with. I've met Kelly, and she is unfortunately a complete brat, and definitely not a child we would want at our wedding regardless of if we're having a child-free wedding or not. My sister thought our refusal was down to the cost of adding her as a guest when we've already reached maximum numbers, so initially offered to pay for her place. I told her it's not about the money but because firstly I don't like Kelly and secondly Brandon overstepped by assuming his child could come without even trying to talk to myself and my FH first. I also calmly told her that she knew we were having a child-free wedding and should have told him straight away to avoid this happening. As it's also not fair to our other friends and family members who have arranged childcare for their own children to respect our wishes. She's now calling me an R because it's going to make things difficult for her when she tells him that he can't bring Kelly as she's excited about going to a wedding. I told her that wasn't my problem as I am not responsible for him trying to muscle in on a family event he wasn't even invited to in the first place. I've offered to talk to him for her, to keep the peace, but she said I'd just end up being more of an R to him than I am already for telling her that her new boyfriend's child can't come to my wedding. Comment 1. Kelly is a brat because I bet you anything, in the wake of the divorce, one or both parents decided to stop saying no to keep her happy and be the cool parent rather than be a real parent. Brandon is proving this by the fact he just assumed he was invited, then, when was talking about it WTH's spoiled kid demanded to come with and he couldn't say no because he's forgotten how to stand up to his kid. The point is, not your monkey, not your circus. Your wedding, your rules. Period. Tell sis if he shows up with the kid, you will be kicking all three of them out. Zero tolerance. And follow through by hiring security. Comment 2. Of course you're NTA. But your sister and her boyfriend sure are. No kids means no kids. But don't worry. By November your sister may have moved on. Comment 3. Not your problem. It's Brandon's. He is assuming too much about a family event he was not invited to. Let him and your sister deal with it. I'm also petty. I would let her ex know that he is more than welcome to attend also with a guest. My 28F, sister Bree 29F is getting married a year from now. Recently, she reached out to ask me to be a bridesmaid. I was surprised because Bree and I aren't super close, but I was happy to be a part of her special day. I used to be extremely overweight, and last year I decided to take control of my health and lost 75 pounds. I'm much happier and healthier than I was, but I'd still like to lose another 60. This became complicated when Bree sent us a link to the dress she wanted us to buy. I've never been a bridesmaid, but apparently it is common for brides to ask their bridesmaids to buy their own dress. Still, the dress she requested costed $300, which seemed pricey to me. Bree has asked us to order the dress within a couple of weeks, as it's popular and she's worried it will sell out. I called Bree and told her I am on a weight loss journey and am not buying clothes until I get closer to my goal weight unless they're from Goodwill or Walmart or something. Bree seemed really upset by this. She asked if I could just purchase the size I am now and have it be loose at the wedding. I told her I plan on being almost 60 pounds lighter by the wedding, so the dress won't be loose, it will literally fall off. Bree asked then if I could slow down my weight loss until after the wedding so the dress would fit. I told her absolutely not. I feel amazing and I'm already losing at a slow and steady pace. I presented Bree with 3 solutions: 1, I can wait to buy the dress until closer to the wedding, as I requested; 2, she can buy me the dress now with her money; or 3, I drop out of the bridal party, since she probably has people she's closer with than me anyway. Bree did not seem keen on any of these options, even removing me from the bridal party. She told me I was ruining her big day and that it's about her, not me, so why does it matter if I wear a dress that's a little loose? I hung up after that to give Bree some time to cool off, but then I got a call from my mother telling me what a horrible sister I was and how selfish I was for not just ordering the bridesmaid's dress. She reiterated how it's Bree's day, not mine, and when I have my own wedding I can do things exactly how I want. To be truthful, I am finally starting to feel confident and to like how I look. Before I started losing weight, I wouldn't have cared if I wore a too loose dress because I was fat and ugly anyway. Now, Even though I only buy dirt cheap clothes, I make sure to buy clothes that flatter me and accentuate my curves. I put a lot more effort into hair, makeup, and overall presentation. So yes, even though it is not my wedding, this will probably be the first formal event I go to after having lost weight, and I know lots of pictures will be taken. I want to look my best for these photos because I know I will look back on them and remember how hard I worked to get there. Does this make me a selfish R? Comment 1. YTA here but softly. Weight loss is unpredictable, especially as you get closer to your goal. I'd buy your current size or maybe one size down and then plan on tailoring close to the wedding. And yes, it's annoying and expensive. I've dealt with that choice between buy something new or pay almost double to get something tailored down, and it's not the easiest. I really feel you on this. However, it is an unavoidable part of the process because formal events, work occasions, etc. continue on while you are making such big life changes. You're still minimizing your spending more than a lot of people can by only getting inexpensive clothes for every day. Comment 2. YTA. Your feelings are understandable, but the reality is the dress will sell out and it's her choice. It's her wedding. You buy it and pay to get it altered in enough time before the wedding, or buy a smaller size. The wedding isn't about you.